In this video, we're looking at the portfolio of Seth Klarman. So this is the middle of February, and it is possible to see what super investors bought or sold during the previous quarter, during the fourth quarter of 2022. So Seth Klarman is one of the famous super investors that I follow. He's the author of the book Margin of Safety. So he's a Warren Buffett long-only style investor. And this is important because 30-day filings are available only after 45 days after the quarter ends. So for example, in case of Michael Burry, he recently bought Alibaba and JD. We don't know for sure if he already sold his positions in these Chinese companies. In case of Seth Klarman, he is long-only style investor and he's very long-term investor. So it is relatively safe to follow the logic behind his purchases. So in this video, we will look at his two main changes of his portfolio. One stock that he bought, added his position, and one stock that he sold out. So we will look at what approximate price he bought or sold these stocks, some of the numbers of these companies, and what this means for investors. So let's get started. First of all, soon fourth quarter report for Warren Buffett Discovery will be available. If you want to get updates, please consider subscribing. Okay, so 13F filings are available for the fourth quarter of 2022. First, there are several limitations. First of all, it works best for long-only style investors, and Seth Klarman is long-term, long-only style investor. So these filings do not show short positions, they do not show cash positions. It is very important to know the investment style, the investor that you are following. Also, one of the most significant limitations is that they are available only after 45 days after the quarter ends. So let's look at the portfolio of Seth Klarman. His portfolio is centered around 18 core positions that represent 1 or more percentage of his portfolio. And one of his top positions, top 10 positions, is Warren Buffett Discovery. This is very important for me because I'm the shareholder of Warren Buffett Discovery. So soon, fourth quarter report will be available. He added around 6% in the previous quarter. So this is not a very significant addition, but also a positive sign. If we sort his portfolio by changes to portfolio, we can see that his two main changes are the purchase, the addition in Google stock, and he also sold out Dropbox stock. So let's look at some of the numbers of Dropbox. First, let's look what was the maximum price for Dropbox in the fourth quarter. So we know that Seth Klarman sold his position in the fourth quarter and the maximum price was close to $24 per share. So it is very likely that he sold even lower, but this was the maximum price. So I believe that the investor is so good that he was able to sell the shares at almost the maximum price. If we look at some of the numbers of Dropbox, we can see that they have close to 800 million of net debt. If we compare that to their free cash flow, debt not seems to be an issue. So I believe the debt is not the reason why Seth Klarman sold his shares in Dropbox. They also not paying a dividend, and they have very high return on invested capital and return on assets. If we look at their free cash flow yield, so this is next 12-month free cash flow divided by current market cap, for Dropbox this is close to 9.5%, so a relatively high free cash flow yield. For example, for Google this is 5.8%. So again, this is next 12-month free cash flow according to analysts. So Dropbox looks much cheaper than Google. So Dropbox trades at much lower free cash flow multiple than Google. And according to analyst projections that I was able to find, in the next 5 years for Google, the growth rate will be around 13%. For Dropbox stock, the growth rate in the next 5 years is much lower. So the growth rate may be one of the reasons why Seth Klarman decided to sell his shares of Dropbox. Maybe he also found something in Dropbox fundamentals. So this is something that we do not know for sure. So there may be many reasons why super investor decides to sell the shares, but usually there is only one reason to buy the shares. So Google was his largest purchase in the previous quarter. If I look at the lowest price for Google stock in the previous quarter, this was around $83 per share. So again, this is very likely that he bought even higher, but this was the minimum price. Also, Google stock is projected to grow around 13% for the next 5 years, according to analyst projections that I was able to find. Also, there are questions about the moat of Dropbox. In case of Google, Google has a huge moat. They have unquestionable competitive advantage. So we looked at the main addition of Seth Klarman, Google stock. We looked at Dropbox stock. He completely sold out of his position. Also, if you want to know more about what to expect in the fourth quarter report of Warner Bros. Discovery, here is the video. If you are not subscribed to the channel, you can do this by pressing the button right here. You will not miss a single new video. Thank you very much for watching to the end, and see you in the next video.